What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again, once again, and today, people, we're going to be talking about the current update and the sandbox changes and features we're previewing right now in this 1 week meta as we go into Forsaken. With a little bit of a caveat that the entirety of our Destiny seems to have forgotten. This is a 1 week meta, and Forsaken will introduce new weapons and perks and mods and armor that'll do all these cool, super special, awesome things. Also, there are things like, I don't know, the super laggy Crucible or matchmaking times taking forever that, according to Bungie, will be ironed out when Forsaken is released. This is very much a beta, and anyone around during the Taken King's 1 week meta will remember that what we're playing now will not be how the game looks in a week or a month after the DLC is released. At least that's how Taken King was, so all of you people out there already crying for nerfs to all the things? Hold your fucking horses. Give the game a month. Let's see what the rest of the sandbox looks like. This isn't like the Destiny 2 beta where we knew we would have fixed weapons and fixed abilities going into Destiny 2. This is a whole new ballgame, and I think the problems that people are dealing with now, A, come from the fact that it's not a complete sandbox, and B, I think a lot of people have gotten bad habits from how bad Destiny 2's PvP was. So you're trying to play Destiny 2 like it's Destiny 2, when it's more like Destiny 1. But more on that later. So with that caveat out of the way, what do I think? There are a handful of features that just kind of exist that I really don't have much to say about other than the fact that they're great quality of life changes. I'll touch on some of them, but I don't really have a lot to say about them other than the fact that they're just really great changes and I like them. For example, on top of the bounty system returning a few updates ago, Destiny now has daily challenges. This could be something like play a game of Crucible, run a strike, you know, things like that. On top of it, the weekly Flashpoint has daily heroic missions. Now, I'm sure that this was put in patch notes somewhere, but I don't think they really stated that daily heroic missions would be giving full-on Flashpoint rewards. Maybe that's a glitch, I don't know. Maybe it's a feature, I don't know. But if it is a feature, that is a really great change. And it's a really great change for the direction that Destiny 2 is going in Year 2. See, in Destiny 2 Year 1, this would mean that you would burn through rewards really quickly. You would just level up all the way really quickly with more rewards that grant really cool stuff, and you'd get all the weapons and armor really quickly. But in Destiny 2 Year 2, well, now we have random rolls. Now we have mods. Now you really have to try and collect gear. And just because we have more opportunities to do this now, doesn't mean it's always going to turn out in your favor. So these activities will always be worth grinding through just as long as they drop rewards. And that gives you a reason to jump on even if it's no more than half an hour a day to knock these things out. Also, the weekly reset will happen every 4 days now. So for those of you who don't know, because every video is someone's first, starting with the launch of Forsaken, or I guess 2.0, the game's Crucible, Strikes, Nightfall, Gambit, and Flashpoints will reset every 4 days instead of every 7, unlike the raid, which will still reset every Tuesday. So, more to do, more to collect, and some really just great quality of life changes. The changes to the Nightfall are really fun as well, so when you load up a Nightfall, you get a choice between 3 different Nightfalls. That's just really, really cool. I like this because it doesn't lock you to a single Nightfall that can just be a pain in the ass to do. Then again, I mean, short of Exodus Crash, all the Nightfalls and Strikes in Destiny 2 are relatively simple, but I like the choice nonetheless. On top of that, it makes waiting for strike loot way less painful. You don't have to wait long for that DFA or Braytech rocket launcher to come up. Now, if they could just adjust the drop rates or make sure the drop rates aren't broken, that would be great. On top of that, it makes the grind a little less tedious. So, for example, this week, both DFA and the Braytech rocket launcher are in the rotation as the weapons you can get from running these strikes. So if you get tired of running the DFA strike, you can just go to the Braytech rocket launcher strike and run that until you're tired of running that, and then go back to the DFA. At least it changes up the monotony a little bit. And last, but certainly not least, we come to the Crucible. Now, I'm personally having an absolute fucking blast playing the Crucible. Running around with my team and just eviscerating team after team, match after match. Now, that's not to say that PvP is 100% perfect. One, we don't know how the new Sandbox will affect things in Forsaken. For example, I'm already seeing masterwork max range shotguns with things like Rampage, and they're cross-mapping people with these shotguns, and I'm just like, yeah, but no. And it seems like aim assist and possibly bullet magnetism on snipers needs toned down a lot, but I'm not 100% committed to that opinion because currently the Crucible is laggy as fuck. And I'm not entirely sure if it's a case of, wow, that magic bullet just curved around the corner and killed me because the bullet magnetism, or if it's a case of the game is so laggy that I was killed 3 seconds ago when I was kind of peeking and it just took forever to register. Same thing with hit registration in the game. Like, sometimes melee and shoulder charge and Titan Slam feel really, really crispy. But in the next game, you'll be in your super and some dude will be standing in a corner and you'll go and shoulder charge him while you're in super and you'll just do no damage. You'll gently brush him aside. And I'm just like, wait, what? So hit registration seems to be off. But again, that could just be a product of lag. Let's see, what else? I also think that there's some range stats that need to be adjusted. Fusion rifles and shotguns, they probably need to be looked at. And hand cannons, geez. At least on consoles, man. For the skill-based weapon that a hand cannon is, it really feels like you are being punished so hard for deciding to use one against anything else in the game. Now, again, there's a couple of really good ones that work out really well, like Dire Promise and Old Fashioned, but, oh man, they feel like it's more work to use them than it is to use anything else and just do worse. I mean, like, it just feels like it's more work to use a hand cannon than anything else, and you're not as rewarded for being good with them as you are with being mediocre with anything else. But even with those slight concerns, I don't want to see anything done about them until like a month or 2 or 3 after Forsaken's out and we really get into this meta and we really start exploring the mods and the random rolls and stuff like that, and see if this isn't just a growing pain of a 1-week meta. I also like the changes coming to the playlist just in general. So we all know that I actually like skill-based matchmaking. I know, I'm weird. Skill-based matchmaking will be removed from quick play when Forsaken comes out. And I'm okay with this because the competitive playlist is getting Radar back. It's already got it back. It's going to have Clash. It's going to have Control. So it's going to be an actual competitive playlist like I've been asking for forever now. I'm okay with that. I am 150% okay with that. Now, if maybe we could select the game type we want to play, we'd really be winning. Like, yay! But we're not there yet. And of course, I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't gush about the changes to shoulder charge. Now, I'm already seeing calls for it to be nerfed into the ground. I mean, after all, why are Titans the only one allowed to have a one-hit kill melee? Completely and utterly forgetting about the fact that Hunters will be receiving a one-hit kill melee in Forsaken. That being said, let's also buff the damage to throwing knives. Like, I'm just saying, like, 29 damage a crit, that's not cool. Now, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, I'm going to tell you something that may shock, appall, and surprise you. I'm not the best player in the world. Gasp, shock, horror. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you some advice anyways. People, you really need to stop playing Destiny 2 like it's still Destiny 2 Year 1. And I can't tell you the amount of people I still see sitting on a corner, in a group, ADSing, with their Vigilance Wing or their Graviton Lance, hoping to score a team shot. And then they get mad because they're not paying attention, and a Titan runs up behind them, uses Shoulder Charge, disrupts the entire group with its AoE effect, and then cleans up the rest for the quad kill. And then, because they weren't paying attention and got one hit killed by Shoulder Charge, clearly Shoulder Charge needs nerfed into the dust. That's absolutely moronic. We have shotguns with range stats that compete with snipers. We have 3-tap everything. Most maps have really long lanes of sight. If a Titan is constantly getting around you and your team and putting that sweet, sweet, sweet knee of justice through your skull, perhaps you might want to try something different when dealing with Titans or Arcstaff Hunters in the near future. And to my Titan brothers, I have watched way too many of you just rush headlong down a lane hoping to get a kill and then dying. Stop that. There is an art to the approach. It is a skill most people don't get or appreciate. Well, you see Titans. All other people see is a one-hit kill melee that somebody just ran out and hit them with, and they think that's unfair. What they don't realize is quite often, the battle for their death has been going on much longer than a gunfight would have gone. See, the real fight had been going on much longer than the one moment of sudden collision that atomized them in a glorious thunderstrike. I mean, you have to think about where the enemy is. Then you have to map out in your mind the best route to get to them. And then you have to execute. And a lot of times, the execution is where people really fuck it up. See, you gotta get those flank routes down. And then, while you're doing this, you have to keep in cover. Find great corners. It's all about angles. It's a game of angles. It also helps to push with a teammate. Also, Shoulder Charge can be activated out of a slide, or simultaneously with firing a weapon, like a shotgun. And remember, fellow Titans, your skull is now a mighty bastion. You can break anything with your skull. The only limit is your spine. Relax. The lights will speak for you. Your hands are your eyes now. Look around. You find hand-to-hand combat relaxing. The lights will attract the enemy. Help them to relax as well. You will feel the effect of a Caregraver, Gamma, Lysander 4 Health Enforcer, Frontline variant. Your enemies do not have a skull fortress. Their skulls are like meadows. Play in the meadows. Gather the flowers from the meadows. Gather them with electrokinetic trauma. Smell the flowers. Isn't that nice? You are safe in your skull fort. Anyways, moving forward. So, all in all, we've covered a lot of the bits and pieces that will make some of the primary systems in Forsaken. And so far, I like most everything. Except because, of course, this is a Joker video, we always have to have something to bitch about. The shader deletion system is a disappointment that it just, I can't even fathom it. Like, how, why? Bungie, you built a very specific interface just to delete shaders. And you don't have something like hold Y to delete entire stack option. Currently, you can only delete them in stacks of 5. So, if you have a stack that ends with anything other than a 5 or a 0, well, get ready to then go into your inventory and then manually delete what's left. I have to imagine this is like a holdover from the really terrible UI system that 99.9% of the time is usable. It's pretty basic. It gets the job done, right? But then if you want anything with some order of complexity to it, oh no. This UI system does not do complexity. So, like, this interface is really holding Destiny back in a lot of ways. Like, we don't have basic interface functionality that most RPGs have. So yeah, Bungie, your shader deletion system still needs a lot of work. Anyways, these are just some of my thoughts on the current changes to Destiny. I'm really interested to see how the PvP meta develops, and I'm interested to see how Bungie handles some of the outliers. Things that need delicately sanded down, not violently hammered into irrelevance. Like what happened anytime something was really good in Destiny 1, and people bitched about it. I'm also interested to see what other systems will come online, like the lore system, and how that will be handled. So, there's a lot to look forward to in Forsaken, at least for me, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And like always, stay frosty.